Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Automate with Selenium series. I am Krishan Chawla and in this video we are going to talk about Selenium WebDriver commands. Selenium WebDriver commands are categorized into browser commands, navigation commands and web element commands. Now in our previous video we have already discussed about browser commands and navigation commands, and this video is going to be dedicatedly for web element commands. In case you missed the video on browser commands and navigation commands, I'll provide the link to that video in the description box below. But just to recall, browser commands are the commands which deal with the browser actions such as opening up a browser instance, getting a URL or opening a web page, or closing the web browser, whereas navigation commands deal with the navigation of web page such as forward, backward or page refresh. Now, to get into web element commands, we need to understand what are web element commands. A web element refers to an element through which users generally interacts with the web application, such as an input or a button. As you can see in the example, there is an HTML code for an input type element through which a user can actually interact by entering a data. All the operations dealing with the page interactions are categorized as web element commands. There are various web element commands provided by Selenium that helps us to interact with the web application to perform certain tests like click, clear, get attribute, get CSS value, get text, is displayed, is enabled, is selected, get tag name, get location and get size. Each of these methods have different functions which we'll look into further one by one. So we'll begin with the click action, which allows us to click one of the element over the web application. This method accepts no parameter and returns no value, that means void. Now let's see practically how this click method works, or how do we implement the click method through Selenium. Let's go to our IntelliJ. I have already made a new class with name web element commands and already copied one of the methods which allows me to get the Chrome driver instance when the method is actually called. So let's start by creating a new method, public void tc1, and name it as click method. Now obviously the first thing has to be instantiation of Chrome browser, so I'll do it using WebDriver driver is equals to get Chrome driver. Now this method will provide me a web driver as a return, which we'll put into a driver variable. The second thing we need to do is open a URL. So in this case, just to test our click action, we are going to open our practice website, but for that we need to go to our Chrome browser. So we'll be using this form to test all our web element commands one by one. So the first action, that is click usually works on certain elements, that would be radio button or your checkboxes, submit buttons or anchor tags usually. So we'll try one of those and we'll try clicking this anchor tag. This is an anchor tag. We can verify it by locating this HTML code for this element, and as you can see, this is anchor tag. So what we are going to try is we are going to locate to this website this URL and click on this button, so it takes me back to the testing Adda home website, right? What I'm going to do is I'll be needing a locator to locate this element and then click on this web element. So let's go back to our IntelliJ. This is the URL we are going to open up on the browser instance which we received from get Chrome instance. The third thing would be locating the element. So driver.find element. This is how we actually locate the element on the through Selenium. So I'll make a locator, let's say XPath. What I can do is anchor, because this is my anchor tag, and probably check for href equals to, I can copy the href from here and let's add one more parameter for validation. So let's say class is equals to nav link. So now by this I am asking to find an element using XPath where anchor tag contains @href as testingadda.com and the class value is navlink. Now this will return me a web element. So what I am going to do is I am going to accept the return value in web element, right? So you can actually identify it by control and hover on the element on the method find element. So as you can see, this method has a return type of web element, right? I have accepted the value in element variable that is of type web element. Now what I am going to do is give it a wait just so that we can actually see what's happening on the window. So I'll say thread.sleep and give it 3 seconds of sleep or delay. Now what I'm going to do is I already have the element reference. I am going to simply element.click, right? This is our first method. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to locate this element and click on this button. So we can see the behavior currently. If we click on this button, it actually takes me back to the testing Adda website, right? So we'll go back. And let's try executing this method. Right click and run. So as you can see, the browser instance did open up and it clicked on the back to website button, through which we were able to actually reach to the testing Adda website. So this is our first command in web element commands. Coming up to the next command, that is clear command. As the name suggests, clear command is used to clear the value from a web element, right? This method accepts no parameter and returns no value. Let's go back to our IntelliJ and understand how this command works practically. But before that, we need to open our browser and understand what we are going to do just to see how the clear functionality works. Now we have this form and this form is completely unfilled. That means there is no value in it. So how we are going to actually test it? We are going to try to fill the value in this one of the fields. So let's say we'll pick up the first name. We are going to try to fill the value in first name first, then wait for 3 seconds and then try to clear the value from this text field and see if that works. This is going to be the task to understand the clear functionality. So let's go back, copy this URL. Let's start by creating a new method, public void tc2 clear method throws. We don't need to throw at the moment. So what we are going to do is we are going to take the driver instance get Chrome driver, right? Now what we need to do is driver.get and we'll open the URL which we are going to interact with. The third one would be locating the element on which we need to send some value and then try a clear command. So let's talk about first name. I opened up the dev tools and click locate the HTML code for this first name element. Now as you can see, this is input of type text, has a class form control and has a ID. So obviously in case if you see the ID on the elements, ID is always unique in terms of HTML as well. So what we are going to simply do is we are going to ignore all other attributes and we are going to consider ID for this element. So I'm going to pick up ID, which is example first name. I'm simply going to do is driver dot find element by, because we are dealing with ID, so I'll just type ID and provide the ID which we just copied, so it is example first name. Now this statement will provide me the reference to the element which we were talking about. So the first name, it will provide me the reference to the first name element, which will be available in element variable. What I'm going to do is element dot send keys. This is one of the methods through which we send text to the elements. So you can talk about inputs, or you can talk about text areas, which are the elements that accepts input from the user. So you have to manually type something from your keyboard to these fields, right? So we'll send keys hello. This is a text, right? This will actually send text or set the text to this text field. Now we are going to add some delay just so that we can actually identify what is being done through automation. So I'll say thread.sleep 3000, because this work accepts milliseconds. So 3000 milliseconds means 3 seconds. What we are going to do is wait for 3 seconds, and then again we already have the reference of this element. What I am going to do is element dot clear. This is the method we are discussing, and what should happen is it should open up this URL. It should type hello, this is a test. It will wait for 3 seconds and clear this field again. Let's try executing this method using right click and run and see how the code behaves. So as you can see, the browser instance opened up and the URL is open also. It has already input the text, waited for 3 seconds, and as you can see, the field is clear again. This is the clear functionality of a clear method. There is not much to talk about. It's just a simple clear. Now moving up to our next element, that would be your get attribute. This method helps us to fetch the attribute value of an attribute of an element. Now this method accepts a parameter, a string parameter, and returns a string value. So we are going to see how this works practically. Let's go back to our Selenium and see the form on which we can actually identify. So let's go on first name element again and see the HTML code. Let's say I want to fetch the value of QA attrib. Now basically, just for an explanation, attributes means this type, class, ID, placeholder. These all are attributes of an element, right? So if I say I want the value of QA attrib, that means this is the QA attrib. I want to fetch the value of this attribute. Let's try to understand how we do it. Go back to our IntelliJ and create a new method, public void tc3, and name it as get attribute method, right? What we'll do is, again we'll take the driver instance. Driver is equal to get Chrome driver instance, driver dot get URL. Again the URL is going to be the practice form. The third thing we are going to do is again locate the element, because all the web element commands work on certain web elements. So you will always have to locate the web element first to perform the action or perform the interactions to those elements. So web element is equals to driver dot find element. Now again it is going to be by ID because we are dealing with first name, so it is example first name, right? I have the reference of the first name element, this element. I already have the reference in element variable. Now what I am going to do is element dot get attribute, right? So if you see this, get attribute method accepts a string parameter and returns a string value. So the string parameter is going to be the attribute for which we want to fetch the value. In this case it is going to be QA attribute, and I'll be trying to fetch the value for this QA attribute. So let's go back, put it as QA attribute, right? Now this method actually returns a value, so what I'll have to do is string str is equals to this. Let's try out by printing this variable, str variable, and see if the value is coming up right. So I'll say value of QA attrib is right str. This is done. Let's try executing this method using right click and run. Now as you can see, the browser instance opened up and the URL is open as well. You can see the notification, Windows notification that says one test passed. Let's go ahead and close this instance and go through our TestNG report. So here I have tc3 get attribute method, which is the one I actually executed. So I'll go ahead and click on this method, and if we scroll down, we are able to see the console log which we printed from the test case. So sysout or system.out.println is to write something on the console output. So this is my console output, which says value of Q attribute is first name element, right, the str. Let's go back and verify our Q attribute. So again, if you see the key value of Q attribute for the first name is first name element. This is how you usually fetch the value of an attribute, right? Moving on to the next part, that would be your get CSS value. Get CSS value lets you get the value of a CSS property of a web element. Now this method accepts a string parameter and returns a string value. The string parameter that is accepted by get CSS value is going to be the CSS property for which you want to fetch the value, whereas the return type string is going to return a value of the particular property which you provided in the method. Now let's see practically. To understand this, we'll look into the first name element again and go through the CSS properties which are binded to this element that provides this overall styling over the web page, right? These are the CSS properties. So get CSS value method will accept the property names. Once you provide the property name, it will provide you the value against that property, right? This is what the get CSS value method does. So let's see this practically using @test public void tc4 get CSS value, right? Again, the code will remain same because we are dealing with the same parameter. So I'll go ahead, copy the statement. Still we are able to fetch the first name element. Now what we have to do is element dot get CSS value and provide the property for which you want to fetch the value. So in our case, let's try fetching the value for display that should be returned as block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept the string value in str is equals to, let's try one more, str2 is equals to element dot get CSS value. So I'm going to try fetching two of the values. So let's try fetching this font weight, right? So it should be 400. Let's try printing the values which are extracted from get CSS value methods, and let's do it using the display property value. So it's str, and we'll copy this statement again and print the other value that is going to be font weight property value str2. Now let's try str2. Now let's try executing this method using right click and run and see the behavior of the get CSS value method. So the method has been executed successfully. Let's go back to our IntelliJ and see the values displayed in console output. So as you can see, the display property value came as block, whereas the font weight property value came as 400. Moving on to the next method, which is displayed. Now as the name suggests, this method helps us finding if the element is displayed on the UI or not, or the web page or not. This method accepts no parameter and returns a boolean value. So by boolean value, that means it will return a true or a false. Now one of the things you need to understand with the isDisplays method is, in case if the element which you are trying to locate or use is displayed on, if that method is that element is actually available on the application, it will return true. But in cases if the element is not there on the UI or on the application, it will throw an exception. That is going to be no such element exception. So let's try it. Go back to our IntelliJ and copy the method completely. Now this is going to be tc5 is displayed method, right? So what I'm going to do is I am trying to locate this example first name element because we already know this element exists on the UI. So what I'm going to do is boolean is exist is equals to element dot is displayed. Now let's try executing this method, but before that I'll print the value. Does the element display on web page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print is exist. Let's try executing this method real quick and see what the behavior of the method. So as you can see, the method executed successfully, and go back to our IntelliJ and scroll down to this display. So as you can see, value from is displayed method is returned as true because we already know this method exists. But now let's see the scenario where the element doesn't exist. So let's say ABC, because I know this ID will not exist on the practice testing website. So let's try executing this method again. Now in this case, the method is going to return no such element exception, and this is where you need to actually handle it and create your is displayed method manually so you don't get such exceptions. So as you can see, now one test case failed. So if you scroll down, you will be able to see no such element exception. So in cases where the element is available, it displayed method will actually return you true, but in cases where the element doesn't exist, it will return you no such element exception, right? Let's move on to our next method, that is going to be is enabled. Is enabled method is just to check if the element is enabled or not. There are cases where some form elements are in disabled state, right? This will just check and tell if the element is enabled or not by looking at the attribute of the element. So this method accepts no parameter and returns a boolean value, so that is going to be true or false. Let's go back to our IntelliJ and copy our existing method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change back to example 4, right? So again, this is tc6 is enabled method, right? So what I'm going to do is instead of element dot is displayed, I'll use is enabled. So once I do is enabled, it will check the reference of this element and see if the element exists or not. I mean is enabled or disabled. So in case it's enabled, it will return true. If not, it will return false. Is the element enabled? Let's try executing this method using right click and run. Now the output should be true because we know the element is editable or enabled. We are actually able to type to it, right? One method passed. We'll go back to our IntelliJ and see the console output. Is the element enabled? This is true. In cases if the element is disabled, it will return you as false. So the moving on to our next parameter, that is selected. This method is used to check if the element is selected or not. Is selected method accepts no parameter and returns boolean value, that means true or false. Now this method generally works on elements which are selectable in nature. To understand, we'll go back to our Chrome browser and see. So if I talk about selectable elements, that would be your radio buttons or checkboxes. So let's say if I've clicked on the mail radio button, Selenium command will allow me to check if this element is selected or not, whether this element is selected or not, or probably how many of the hobbies are selected out of these 4. So let's see practically how this works. But before that, because no elements, if we refresh this form, there are no elements which are selected. What we are going to do is we are going to open this page select this male radio button, and then verify is selected for both of these elements, so female and male. By this we'll be able to get a result, one as true for A selected and one as false for is selected, so that we can verify both the scenarios side by side. Let's go back to our IntelliJ and create a method test public void tc7 is selected method. Now these two lines will remain same because we need to open the same form. What I'm going to do is I am going to locate the male gender button element and click on it first. So to do that, I'll just click on this button and check the HTML code. So as you can see, there is an ID available, so I can use this ID, example gender radio male. So what I'm going to do is web element, right, element is equals to driver dot find element by ID, because I'm using the ID, I have the ID available, and that's it. Now the next thing I am going to do is use action commands, which you can completely ignore for now, but the form is designed in such a way, if you normally click it, it will give you the intercepted exception. So I am not going to click on it directly and use the actions class. Now you can completely ignore this method for now. We'll look on these actions also in upcoming tutorials. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click and perform. Now by this I'll be able to click on this element radio button. So what it is going to do is it is going to open up the URL and click on this male radio button. Now I'm going to get the references for both of these elements and try is selected on both of them one by one. So let's do it using boolean, right? Male radio button status is equals to driver dot find element. I already have the ID for male radio button, and the method is selected, right? It will provide us a boolean value. So if you control and hover on it, you'll be able to figure out the return type, that is boolean. So what are we going to do is we have already fetched the value to the male radio button status. We will fetch the value for female radio button as well. So boolean female radio button status is equals to driver find element by, I assume there must be an ID for this element also. So we'll go ahead and check the female radio button code and find a locator. So as you can see, the ID is available for this radio button, for female radio button as well. So I have provided the ID, and again is selected. This will return me a boolean value. Let's try printing the values one by one using male radio button status. Okay, so I'll pass the male radio button status boolean value, and again print the second value, that is going to be male radio button status, right? I'll pass the female radio button status variable. Now in this case, the male radio button status should be true because we have selected it using this statement, and female radio button status should be false because this element is not selected on the application. Then let's try executing this method and see the result. So as you can see, the male radio button clicked successfully over here. We'll go ahead, close the Chrome instance and see the output. The male radio button status is true because this element was selected earlier using this statement, but the female radio status is false. This is what is selected method does, right? Moving on to the next command, that is get tag name. This method accepts no parameter and returns a string value that is going to be the value of the tag name. Now let's see practically. If I talk about, let's say I'm trying to locate this element using ID. I want to figure out what is the value of the tag of this element, right? If I am able to locate this element through Selenium, I want to know what is the tag of the element. So the tag for this element would be input. So by using id we'll be able to fetch out the name of the tag. Okay, so let's do it. Again, create a new method, public void ac8 get tag name. Same thing, have to write it again. Now what we are going to do is web element is equals to driver dot find element by id, because we are using id. So the id is example first name. Now what I am going to do here is I want to know the tag name of this element. So how can I do it? I can string str, because this get tag value returns a string value, element dot get tag name, and try printing the value using sout. Tag is str. Now let's try executing this method. Now as you can see, the test case passed successfully. Let's look at the console output and scroll down. So the tag name for this element having id example first name is input. Now moving on to the next one, that is get location and get size. They are not commonly used, but get location method is used to fetch the location of the element. The return type of this method is point, so it returns a point type value, whereas get size method is used to fetch the height and width of a specific element. Now I'm going to demonstrate both of these elements together in a single method because they are not very commonly used. So get size method returns you a dimension type value, right? So let's see practically how these two methods work. I'm going to create a new method and name it as get size and get dimension. Right, so this is my method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check the size and dimension over the first name element, so I don't have to use these. What I'm going to do is I am going to element dot get size. This is the method. Now as you can see, this method accepts no parameter but returns a dimension. So what I'm going to do is get size. Now this method returns dimension, so what I'm going to do is dimension is equals to, now I'll have the height and width of this element, first name element, in dimension variable. The second thing we are going to do is element dot get location. Now this method accepts no parameter and returns a point value, so I'm going to do is get location. As this returns a point value, so I'm going to do is point is equals to element dot get location. Now I have the location in points and I have the size in dimensions. Now we are going to print these values one by one using sout. So dimension, if you want to print, dimension is all about height and width. So how you can do it, you can probably say height plus dimension dot get height. So this will return me the height of this first name element. Now I can say print the width as well, right? So I'll say width dimension dot get width. So this will return me the width of the element. Now coming up to the point. Now point is basically, location is based on x and y parameters. So what we can do is x value you can fetch using the point variable. So you can do is point dot get x. So this will return me the x location of this first name element. So I say y value and I can say point dot get y. So this will return me the y value of this element. Now let's try executing this method using right click and run and see the output. let's go ahead and close this Chrome instance and see the console output. As you can see, the height of the element is 38, whereas width of the element is 572. X value and Y value are 598 and 227 respectively.